Welcome back. This is Sage, welcoming you all to the Executive Corner Expert Talks 20-minute roundup, where we bring you successful business owners and industry leaders. And today we have Evelyn Lundstrom from First Impressions Image Consulting. So as you know, we bring you these successful business owners in order to help you learn the insights that could possibly guide you in making multiple passive income streams. So today, Evelyn Lundstrom, the CEO founder from First Impressions Image Consulting. Welcome, Evelyn. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's lovely to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time today. And I'm sure the audience is looking forward to hearing from you. So let's get started with the discussion. In today's contemporary world, why is building one's image and presence so important?
Well, for people that have a real outcome or an agenda to improve themselves, or really simply to stand out from the crowd, you've got to do something different. You know, to stand out in a sea of black or navy, I think it's really important to be able to not only be visually noticeable. You know, people see you and think, oh my goodness, you know, there's an interesting person, but also your reputation, the way you behave, the way you just interact with everybody. It's all part of your brand. And it's really important to be able to just be aware, be conscious of how you portray your message, and all of the elements of a brand must come together and be congruent.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your insights. So what does the term personal brand, you've mentioned this about building your brand and your reputation, creating an image. What does the term personal brand mean to you?
Well, it's very important because I teach about this, and I think, you know, for me personally, I've got to walk my talk. I've really got to, you know, have people want to know what I do because you know, it gives me an opportunity then to be able to just simply state it in a sentence. And if I can get people to ask me, wow, how do you do that? Then I know that my introduction or my quick sentence will tell them exactly. So, and I've also got to look the part. So you know, if people ask me, you know, what do you do? My tagline, I think it's really important to have a tagline, because it's very hard to be able to take someone's interest for, you know, just a few seconds initially for them to become engaged with you. So my tagline, and I'll share it with you, is I take the guesswork out of looking good. And people just want to know, oh, wow, well, how do you do that? And then I know that I've got permission to be able to tell them. So my personal brand must be consistent right across the board, from, you know, my LinkedIn profile to my Facebook to my website to how people find me when they finally get to meet me face to face. So it all must line up. It's like ducks on a wall. You know, they must, you know, tell the story.
Absolutely. And images tell the story these days so much more in the digital world. And like they say, first impressions last a lifetime. So which services does your business First Impressions offer?
Look, it's a range of services. We have actually three arms of the business, and one a lot of services is in relation to our personal services, which is for individuals, you know, simply wishing to either rebrand or reinvent themselves for many reasons. And the personal services are really very specific. It's really about looking at styling someone specific to their personality, their physicality, and also the roles they've got and the roles that they want to go for, if there is such a thing. And then we look at the right colours for them. So colour is a very important part of style. You know, wear the right colours, and, you know, you look healthy, vital, high energy. You wear the wrong colours and people are asking you if you're feeling well. Wear the wrong colours if you want to take Monday off on a Friday. But anyway, and also personal shopping, wardrobe auditing and management, And they're the personal services. That's really getting down to the specifics for somebody. We offer corporate training too for frontline teams and representatives of an organisation, because those are the people that really are the front facing of an organisation, and they must be presenting the organisation's culture and they're basically, the organisation, the whole thing about that organisation. They must look like they're part of that team. We also do public workshops, but anyone wanting to enter the image industry, we also have the Definitive Colour and Style Institute, which is actually a training platform for those that want to enter and do what I do. It's a very exciting industry, and I've been in this for 30 years. It's supported me for 30 years. And even through COVID, it was a bit more challenging, but it's still continued. So
great to hear that you've managed to sustain the unmitigated slowdown that we expected.
I'm sorry, somehow the sound has gone. I'm just not hearing you properly.
Oh, I'm sorry, the sound has gone.
I'm just barely hearing you. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Wouldn't be a video call without a technical glitch.
Oh, there we are. That's better.
It's better now? Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Well, I was just saying that the COVID-19 downturn, if anything, was a huge learning experience for many businesses. And looking at consumers' behavioural and emotional, psychological drivers to what they actually get involved with must be really interesting, because we're constantly selling ourselves to potential clients, potential friends, or any sort of person to collaborate with us. So I think your line of work would be very interesting. At the moment, who is part of the company's current clientele?
Look, right across the board. It appeals to anyone that really wants to do something different. I think COVID was an opportunity for people certainly an opportunity for some people to catch up on projects or do things for themselves that they never had time in their usual busy working lives. And so during the COVID time, I actually found that I did a lot of Zoom consultations, which was quite interesting. That had never happened before. And so we had to think differently about how we could reach out to people. People want our services specifically for self-improvement, or they want to go for a new job, they want more money, or they might want a new relationship or find a relationship. They might want to have more power, more influence. So that is the driver that gets people coming to us. And it's very interesting. They come from all walks of life, whether it's, they work in, some sort of industrial field, manufacturing, or they might be CEOs of major service, service companies. Look, it's just whoever. We find a broad range of technical people, instead of just being now techos in the background, working, they're now having to become also representatives of their organization, because they're not just technical people. They've got to also go with the representatives and talk about the technical stuff. So they've got to look the part, and they've never, ever had that opportunity or even been required to do that. And so very interesting. Things are changing very quickly, and we're, as you said, look, we really do live in a visual world, and we do make snap decisions about people, because it's like, a TV channel. You turn it on, you turn it off. You don't like the program, you turn it off. And we can't afford to be switched off. We really have to be switched on, visually and behaviourally.
Absolutely. And you did mention that COVID gave a lot of people during lockdown time to do the things they never had a chance to do, catch up with those creative projects. And I think in the industry that we work in finance and investing, a lot of people also engage in the stock market a little bit more. And we saw that for exchange traded funds is increasing in popularity from the last 12 months, probably because people have been investigating into it a bit more. But you're also absolutely right. People have some really harsh opinions about themselves, and it must be great to have consultants like yourself just give a bit more of an objective view to people, especially in those high-flying roles like those corporate CEOs. So is bringing image training into organisations still a challenge?
Look, we did find that normally we ran image training maybe 2 or 3 times a year, but then we found that over COVID, I mean, that just dropped away completely. I think people started to just feel like they wanted to hibernate, and you know, with the handouts that they were given, I think it was an incentive to stay at home. But on the other hand, it's just picking up now. We've since done one training since, you know, things have improved here in Australia, and the lockdowns have been, you know, it's all changed now. But look, I would imagine in some countries it would be very difficult for training organisations that do what we do to be able to carry on unless they have online training. And that's one of the reasons why it gave me the opportunity to look at developing modular training for the image consultants that want to enter our industry. And we're in the middle of that. We could have started a bit earlier, but it's interesting. I think the world has changed to the point where I don't actually think it's ever going to be quite the same. And I think online training is going to have to be part of our offerings. So then it won't really matter, will it? You know, if anything like this ever happens again, and God, hope it doesn't, at least we will still be able to continue, and people will have that opportunity to do online training.
Absolutely. So, the world has definitely become more digitised since COVID started.
It has, yeah.
In 2016, the smartphone app, My Safe Colours, was launched. How has this helped in the company's growth?
Well, you know, that's a funny thing. You know, we started this app right early in the piece. It was visible for quite a while, and it went through some changes. It was an app that was simply a tool that was actually introducing people to the world of colour. And it was an app that just offered people a range of colours that everyone could wear, and they're called universal colours. And we thought that it would be a great marketing tool just to, first of all, introduce people to colour, but also then it might have been the way it might have inspired people to find out more about their own personal colours, that they could actually expand on that. It didn't give me what I really wanted. And I've had a bit of a challenge because our original developer decided he didn't want to do app development anymore, so he handed it on. And then our next app developer decided, you know, he made some lovely changes, but then didn't want to do it anymore. And I'm not very au fait with, you know, Google apps and things like that. And I believe that there was... I think that you have to actually keep getting it registered to be visible on the App Store. Well, there you go. I didn't know about that. And it was a while before I realised that the app wasn't visible anymore and people were asking for it. And the interesting thing was that I really do have to now find another app developer. So it's most annoying, and it's not there at the moment. But it was a tool. It was nice to be able to. It was nice to be able to just offer something free to introduce them to a world that they might not have been known much about, which was about colour.
Absolutely, and at their fingertips. Like any creative enterprise and technological project, they can be transient and definitely do take time. Thank you for sharing your personal experience with your app development project. So for over 2 decades, First Impressions has been Australia's premier image and style consultancy. Are there any plans to expand into other regions?
Well, and this is an interesting one. Look, I've been in the industry, as I said, for 30 years. And I think I'd like to actually do some travelling around Australia. And so I'm thinking that we've got some lovely projects underway. One of them is obviously the training, online training modules, which we're working on now. We've got a couple of other projects that we've almost finished. We've got the most beautiful style and shopping guides for women. And we've also got a new one coming out for men as well. And as soon as these are finished, I'm looking at maybe licensing other people to take this to develop. You know, they've got the tools, they've got the website, they'll have everything at their fingertips, and to have a license to be able to do their own business. Once they've actually done a training with us, they can actually then become trainers themselves. And so that would be our next expansion. We are just introducing our tools, our colour tools and training into the United States. We would love to expand out into Europe. We do have a consultant there already now. But it's a long road, and I'm thinking maybe in about 5 years I might even sell my business. So who knows? I don't know yet, but it'll be a big step. I'll think, well, what will I do after I sell it? But yeah, it would be a good business to buy. There's a lot of potential still.
Fantastic, Evelyn. With 30 years of industry experience behind you, you sound like you're in a great position to start a mentorship program and help people get the first steps started.
Yes, we've already got a mentor program. We mentor many image consultants in the industry, whether they've trained with us or not. We really feel like giving back, and we do a lot of also work as far as charity work. There's one called Dress for Success, and you might even have it there where you are as well, but it's for people entering the industry after maybe many years out of work for whatever reason. They might have even been coming out of the jail systems and having to get back into work. And so we do offer some hours every month to actually dress these people to get them out to be interviewed for jobs. So yes, we do quite a bit of mentoring and philanthropic work as well. So
that sounds fantastic. Actually, very inspiring. Sounds like a great reality TV series idea, very motivational.
Yes,
so,
yes.
How has the recent shift to a virtual world impacted the business of image training and consulting?
Look, it's certainly challenged the so-called rules. I've always been regarded as a maverick stylist and trainer, only because I've questioned everything. I was trained with a bit of a school ma'am, ruler in hand way of training, and I followed the rules for a while, but there were always things that I questioned, and it led me to wanting to develop tools that were much easier. They made more sense, and I took one of my consultants over to Chicago to one of the very large. Oh, I'm sorry about that sound. Can you hear that?
No, it's fine.
Message sounds coming through. I'm sorry about that, and I'm not sure how to stop that. Anyway, we went to a very large conference. It's always held by the AICI or the the AICI, it's the Association of Image Consultants International. Sorry, I had a bit of brain glitch thinking of these noises. And so we go there, and we had a large trade table, and it generated so much interest. And my colleague and I always call them colleagues once they've trained with me and they're out doing their own business. They're no longer trainees, they're colleagues. And we both presented at that conference, and we've got hundreds of people from all over the world that are image consultants. And so they all come to this conference once every 2 years. And it generated so much interest and a lot of pushback. You know, it was quite interesting that the rules, so many of them are following the rules, but we had another way of presenting it and a very much easier way of being able to do things instead of, you know, the convoluted ways that I'd been trained in. There was a much better way. And people were really interested. That's why one of my other trainees are going to New York next month. And she's going to be actually presenting to the New York Tri-Chapter, you know, our philosophy and methodology. It's going to help the industry so much. And it's really ahead of its game, really. Very excited.
America's a wonderful market to break into. I mean, they're huge about life coaching and self-help and things like that, that's for sure. So has COVID-19 had any impact on the company's operations? How is First Impressions dealing with the pandemic's repercussions?
Well, we are very lucky in Australia because we're not... you know, it's been managed well, and we find that, you know, we're not really in lockdown anymore. It might be just isolated in various areas, but just for a very short time. Yeah, so it hasn't, now it's not impacting so much at all. But during that year, and none of us will ever forget 2020, but it did impact. We didn't have the clients as much. We had a lot more Zooming. I got so sick of sitting on my seat, you know, 1 hour after an hour Zoom calls. But a lot of it was just simply continuing on with some projects, which in a way was very nice. It gave me the time to really look at, you know, changing things up, improving things where I could, things like that. But yeah, there was an impact, but it really hasn't hit us like some of our American and European colleagues. No, it's been quite devastating for them.
Absolutely. And we're so lucky here in Australia to have almost finished our final recovery phase, but some of the world is still going through the effects of the pandemic quite heavily.
I know. Yeah, it's terrible.
It's been an absolute delight chatting to you today. Would you like to share one of the most impactful feedbacks that you have received from a client in recent times at all before we finish?
Oh, look, I'd be happy to. I don't have one right to have. Oh, one moment. I do have some nice testimonials from people that have actually been trained with me. In fact, we're just updating our prospectus right now, and I was just going through it. And do you want me to read one of the testimonials? Thank you for the opportunity. Here we go. What do our consultants say? Oh, all right. I'll just read the first one. It's just come up on the back page. It'll be just easy. Here we go. When I enrolled in colour training with Evelyn, I expected to learn the technique to help my future clients identify the colours that best enhance them. My expectations were not only met, they were exceeded. Not only did I learn the best practice in colour analysis techniques, I also gained the confidence to start my business knowing I would have the continuous support of one of the best qualified image consultants in Australia. Evelyn is an excellent trainer who is willing to share with her trainees all the knowledge she has accumulated over the years. Taking the course with Evelyn really motivated me and gave me the confidence to go out there, establish my business knowing I am giving my clients and the best materials available in the personal image industry. There you go.
That's lovely. Definitely worth reading out and sharing. Thank you so much. And everyone, this is Evelyn Lundstrom today with us from First Impressions. And she takes the guesswork out of looking good. Thanks, Evelyn. That was a fantastic show.
It was a pleasure, and thank you for the opportunity.
Excellent. Watch this space, everyone, and as we say here in Kalkine, stay apprised and invest wise.